Howdy. Greetings from the beautiful, unceded, unsurrendered, and continually occupied territory of the Lheidli T'enneh. I'm Regional Chief Teegee of the BC Assembly of First Nations. As we all celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day on June 21st, I want to recognize this year and this occasion as it is the 25th anniversary of this important event that is recognized by all Indigenous peoples across Canada and the United States. Despite this milestone, I would like to acknowledge a particularly difficult year we've all experienced and how much our lives changed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has laid bare the acute social inequities which have left First Nations extremely vulnerable to the virus and its after effects. I want to hold my hands up to all First Nations people and governments who were quick to respond to the pandemic threat and immediately advocated, adopted, and employed strategies to limit the spread of the virus and keep our communities and our elders as safe as possible. Vaccines are the key tool in our toolbox to beat the COVID-19 pandemic. And First Nations have stepped up in significant numbers to get their vaccine shots provided by their caregivers. I want to thank you all for heeding the call. Over this past year, Indigenous peoples have called out racism and the long dark history of colonial genocidal policies that still has detrimental implications on our people to this day. Many Indigenous peoples are creating space and dialogue for action on extensive, innovative, and transformative change in policies and laws that will be shaping policing policies, the judicial system policies, healthcare policies, and many more. We have all been deeply affected by the recent announcement of the discovery of 215 unmarked graves in Tecumseh. The burial sites prove what was always known and proved the oral history of residential school survivors who have continually shared these stories of atrocities imposed on our loved ones. We must see real support and action to identify additional sites throughout this country. All Canadians must learn about and understand the long-lasting impacts of genocidal laws and policies which have been imposed upon survivors and their families. And importantly, each Canadian must understand how the state's efforts have evolved over time and are now implemented and influence other Canadian institutions, including policing, justice, and children and family social systems. Now is a time for change. So, on the 25th anniversary of a National Indigenous Peoples Day, let us reflect on the long, difficult journey Indigenous peoples have traveled. Our families, friends, and communities have endured much, but we have built strengths and resilience in the face of many adversities. Let us commemorate our rich, diverse, and living cultures and languages and celebrate the work many of our elders and knowledge keepers are doing to rebuild and make our nation stronger. Thank you, Masicho. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day.